comparison in my video for Marco Pignataro's Performance Pedagogy class for the Berklee Global Jazz Institute Fall 2023. So what I just did is I only used stepwise motion for my baseline, over 12-bar blues. What stepwise motion means is that you only use either a half step or a whole step between notes. So we did a blues in the key of F. Example of a whole step is F to G. Example of a half step is F to G flat. We're only using major seconds and minor seconds to get from one note to another. Now what that means is you're not always going to be playing the root of a chord if you have a distance other than a fourth or a fifth if you're using stepwise motion going in either direction. However, using stepwise motion is going to lend you a strong line anytime you use it, so you don't need to rely on roots. So using this chromatic approach, you're going to be able to do a couple things. And we're going to start with two ideas. Going to be called Rule 1 and Rule 2. Rule number 1. We're going to use 5 notes to separate the interval of a perfect fifth. And we're going to start on F. We're going to go in ascending motion. F, G, A, B flat, C. We just connected a perfect fifth using 5 notes across one measure and then the downbeat of the second measure. We're also going to talk about Rule 2. The difference is Rule 2 is going to separate the notes by a perfect fourth instead of a fifth. Now we're going to start on F again. This time we're going F to B flat instead of F to C. Let's hear the difference. This is Rule 1. That's going up, coming back down. What does that sound like? That is dum, bum, 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 bum. That's a major scale going from the root to the 5th degree. You can use that in a minor as well, so instead of an A natural, we're going to play an A flat. Boom, 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 boom. That was rule number 1. Rule 2. Instead of connecting F to C, we connected F to B flat, a perfect fourth apart. Now there's a second type of Rule 2 that is found as often as this one. So this we're going to call Bop 2, and this will be Blue 2. So I'm going to play it before I write it down. See if you can catch the difference. I'm going to play Bop 2 first. So we did that one already. Let's check out Blue 2. See if you can spot the difference. bop 2 again. The difference is, if you caught it, we're still walking up chromatically between a perfect fourth, but the chromatic note, the minor second, is not going to be the first interval. It's going to be after the second note. So we played F, same as before, but instead of an F sharp, we played a G natural. The half step came here. G sharp, and then A, before our B flat. Now these 3 lines going up and down, ascending and descending, rule 1, bop 2, and blue 2, are the basis of what the best jazz bassists have used in their lines. Now, the things that they add are arpeggios, triplets, drops. Those are personal styles, but when you listen to bass lines with strong voice leading, they all incorporate these different aspects. So, a common use that will use all 3, we're going to play a 2-5-1 in the key of C. So we're going to have D minor 7, G 7, C major for 2 bars. I'm going to give you blue 2, bop 2, and then rule 1. I'm going to start on D. I'm starting on the root of the first chord, and the root of every chord except the last measure of C is going to be on the downbeat. Check it out. That was only these 3 lines. Was it exciting? No. Was it a strong bass line? Absolutely. It was a strong bass line. So let's look at ways to ornament it. So again, D, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, F, E, D, C. Let's see what we can do with that. Change any notes. I accented different things. Those might not be the choices you would make while improvising with a piano player, with a soloist. Those didn't add any arpeggios. I played dead notes, I slid, but I didn't add any notes. Let's try it again. Let's improvise again. We're going to play the same exact notes. I might change the octave, but they'll be the same exact notes. Anticipations, chromatic approaches, but approaching the same notes. These are going to be the bedrocks of bass players like Paul Chambers, Ray Brown, Ron Carter. If you listen to the 3 of them on any song they have ever played, every transcription I've ever done on any of them have featured all 3 of these lines. It lends strength, it lends chromaticism, which in this situation means voice leading. we're using only stepwise motion for voice leading. And by only using half steps and whole steps, we are showing the soloists exactly where we're going. Even if we're not supplying the root, we will always use these to outline chord tones. So let's look at Blue 2, descending, going to Rule 2, Bop 2, ascending. What does that sound like? Again. D, C, B, B flat, A, B, C, C sharp, D. You'll find that in almost every modal bass line, starting with the most famous, So What? Roll 1. So what we did there is we did descending Blue 2. So what does that mean? It means start with a whole step and then have your half steps to Bop 2, which is going to sound good ascending, starting on the root of a dominant, to Rule 1 ascending. How does it sound if we reverse that? So we're going to do Bop 2 descending, Blue 2 ascending. One more time. Not as strong. It sounds major at first, and then it sounds minor. In a major tune, such as a bebop blues, any Charlie Parker head, if you're going to start, let's say, Confirmation on F major. Sounds great over a major chord. Not a dominant chord. If you're starting on the root. If you're playing a dominant chord, you want the second note starting on F to be E flat, which means whole step first, Blue 2. Now, if you were to walk a blues like we did in the beginning, you'll find it's very hard to only use stepwise motion. And it should be part of any jazz bass player's routine to only use stepwise motion, not only on blues heads, but on standards, such as Stella by Starlight. It's incredibly challenging to only use stepwise motion. But what it does is it unlocks your ear for chromatic approaches and voice leading. And it lends the band with the strongest voice leading possible without using roots. So to review, Rule 1. Rule 2. That was Bop 2. Here's Blue 2. You work all of these into your bass lines, you will begin to open up your ears. And once you work in the fundamentals with these 3 lines, that's when you can unlock your arpeggios, your drops, your double stops, but provide a sense of strength for the band with these 3 lines, you're going to be swinging. That's it.